Hello everyone. Today we are going to read our chapter 5 Conservation of Plants and Animals. We saw in class 7 that Paheli and Bujo had visited the forest along with Professor Ahmed and Tibu. They were eager to share their experiences with their classmates. Other children in the class were also eager to share their experiences as some of them had visited Bharatpur Sanctuary. Some others had heard about Kaziranga National Park, Lokchau Wildlife Sanctuary, Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserve, and Tiger Reserve, etc. What is the purpose of making national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves? Deforestation and its causes. A great variety of plants and animals exist on earth. They are essential for the well being and survival of mankind. Today, a major threat to survival of these organisms is deforestation. We know that deforestation means clearing of forest and using that land for other purposes. Trees in the forest are cut for some of the purposes mentioned below. Procuring land for cultivation, building houses and factories, making furniture, or using wood as fuel. Some natural causes of deforestation are forest fires and severe droughts. Activity 5.1. Add more causes of deforestation to your list and classify them into natural and man-made. Consequences of deforestation. Paheli and Bujo recalled the consequences of deforestation. They remembered that deforestation increases the temperature and pollution level on earth. It increases the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Groundwater level also gets lowered. They know that deforestation disturbs the balance in nature. They were told by Professor Ahmed that if cutting of trees continues, rainfall and the fertility of the soil will decrease. Moreover, there will be increased chances of natural calamities such as floods and droughts. How does deforestation reduce rainfall on the one hand and lead to floods on the other? Recall that plants need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Fewer trees would mean that less carbon dioxide will be used up, resulting in its increased amount in the atmosphere. This will lead to global warming as carbon dioxide traps the heat rays reflected by the earth. The increase in temperature on the earth disturbs the water cycle and may reduce rainfall. This could cause droughts. Deforestation is a major cause which leads to the change in soil properties. Physical properties of the soil get affected by plantation and vegetation. Recall from class 7 how trees prevent soil erosion. Fewer trees result in more soil erosion. Removal of the top layer of the soil exposes the lower, hard, and rocky layers. This soil has less humus and is less fertile. Gradually, the fertile land gets converted into deserts. It is called desertification. Deforestation also leads to a decrease in the water holding capacity of the soil. The movement of water from the soil surface into the ground infiltration rate is reduced. So there are floods. The other properties of the soil like nutrient content, texture, etc. also change because of deforestation. We have studied in class 7 that we get many products from forest. List these products. Will we face shortage of these products if we continue cutting trees? Activity 5.2. Animal life is also affected by deforestation. How? List the points and discuss them in your class. Conservation of forest and wildlife. Having become aware of the effects of deforestation, Paheli and Bujo are worried. They go to Professor Ahmed and ask him how forest and wildlife can be saved. Biosphere is that part of the earth in which living organisms exist or which supports life. Biological diversity or biodiversity refers to the variety of organisms existing on the earth, their interrelationships, and their relationship with the environment. Professor Ahmed organizes a visit to a biosphere reserve for Paheli, Bujo, and their classmates. He selects a place named Pachmadi Biosphere Reserve. He knows that the plants and animals found here are similar to those of the upper Himalayan peaks and to those belonging to the lower Western Ghats. Professor Ahmed believes that the biodiversity found here is unique. He requests Madhavji, a forest employee, to guide the children inside the biosphere reserve. He explained that preserving areas of such biological importance make them a part of our national heritage. Madhavji explains to the children that apart from our personal efforts and efforts of the society, government agencies also take care of the forest and animals. The government lays down rules, methods, and policies to protect and conserve them. Wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, biosphere reserves, etc. are protected areas for conservation of plants and animals present in that area. To protect our flora and fauna and their habitats, protected areas called wildlife sanctuaries, national parks, and biosphere reserves have been earmarked. Plantation, cultivation, grazing, felling trees, hunting, and poaching are prohibited here. Prohibited there. Wildlife sanctuary. Areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat. National park. Areas reserved for wildlife where they can freely use the habitats and natural resources. Biosphere reserve. Large areas of protected land for conservation of wildlife, plant and animal resources and traditional life of the tribals living in the area. Activity 5.3. Find out the number of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves in your district, state and country. Record in table 5.1. Show these areas in an outline map of your state and India. Biosphere Reserve. Children along with Professor Ahmed and Madhavji enter the Biosphere Reserve area. Madhavji explains that biosphere reserves are the areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. As you are aware that biodiversity is the variety of plants, animals and microorganisms generally found in an area. The biosphere reserves help to maintain the biodiversity and culture of that area. A biosphere reserve may also contain other protected areas in it. The Pachmadi Biosphere Reserve consists of one national park named Satpura and two wildlife sanctuaries named Bori and Pachmadi. Activity 5.4. List the factors disturbing the biodiversity of your area. Some of these factors and human activities may disturb the biodiversity unknowingly. List these human activities. How can these be checked? Discuss in your class and write a brief report in your notebook. Flora and fauna. As the children walk around the biosphere reserve, they appreciate the green wealth of the forest. They are very happy to see tall teak trees and animals inside the forest. Suddenly, Paheli finds a rabbit and wants to catch it. She starts running after it. Professor Ahmed stops her. He explains that animals are comfortable and happy in their own habitat. We should not disturb them. Madhavji explains that some animals and plants typically belong to a particular area. The plants and animals found in a particular area are termed flora and fauna respectively of that area. Activity 5.5. Try to identify the flora and fauna of your area and list them. Endemic species. Soon the group quietly enters the deep forest. Children are surprised to see a very big squirrel. This squirrel has a big fluffy tail. They are very curious to know about it. Madhavji tells them that this is known as the giant squirrel and is endemic in this area. Endemic species are those species of plants and animals which are found exclusively in a particular area. They are not naturally found anywhere else. A particular type of animal or plant may be endemic to a zone, a state, or a country. Madhavji shows sal and wild mango as two examples of the endemic flora of the Pachmadi Biosphere Reserve. Bison, Indian giant squirrel, and flying squirrel are endemic fauna of this area. Professor Ahmed explains that the destruction of their habitat, increasing population, and introduction of new species may affect the natural habitat of endemic species and endanger their existence. Species is a group of population which are capable of interbreeding. This means that the members of a species can reproduce fertile offsprings only with the members of their own species and not with members of other species. Members of a species have common characteristics. Activity 5.6. Find out the endemic plants and animals of the region where you live. Wildlife Sanctuary. Soon Pehli sees a board with Pachmadi Wildlife Sanctuary written on it. Professor Ahmed explains that killing, poaching or capturing animals in general is strictly prohibited and punishable by law in all such places. Wildlife sanctuaries like reserve forests provide protection and suitable living conditions to wild animals. He also tells them that people living in wildlife sanctuaries are allowed to do certain activities such as grazing by their livestock, collecting medicinal plants, firewood, etc. Some of the threatened wild animals like black buck, white-eyed buck, elephant, golden cat, pink-headed duck, gharial, marsh crocodile, python, rhinoceros, etc. are protected and preserved in our wildlife sanctuaries. Indian sanctuaries have unique landscapes, broad level forest, mountain forest, and bushlands in deltas of big rivers. It is a pity that even protected forests are not safe because people living in the neighborhood encroach upon them and destroy them. Children are reminded of their visit to the zoo. They recall that zoos are also places where animals receive protection. What is the difference between a zoo and a wildlife sanctuary? Activity 5.7. Visit a nearby zoo. Observe the conditions provided to the animals. Were they suitable for the animals? Can animals live in artificial setting instead of their natural habitat? In your opinion, will the animals be comfortable in a zoo or in their natural habitat? National Park. On the roadside there was another board on which was written Satpura National Park. Children are now eager to go there. Madhavji tells them that these reserves are large and diverse enough to protect whole sets of ecosystems. They preserve flora, fauna, landscapes, and historic objects of an area. Satpura National Park is the first reserve forest of India. The finest Indian teak is found in this forest. There are more than 100 national parks in India. Rock shelters are also found inside the Satpura National Park. These are evidences of prehistoric human life in these jungles. These give us an idea of the life of primitive people. Rock paintings are found in these shelters. A total of 55 rock shelters have been identified in Pachmadi Biosphere Reserve. Figures of animals and men fighting, hunting, dancing, and playing musical instruments are depicted in these paintings. Many tribals still live in the area. As children move ahead, they see a board with Satpura Tiger Reserve written on it. Madhavji explains that Project Tiger was launched by the government to protect the tigers in the country. The objective of this project was to ensure the survival and maintenance of the tiger population in the country. Are tigers still found in this forest? I hope I can see a tiger. Tiger is one of the many species which are slowly disappearing from our forest. But the Satpura Tiger Reserve is unique in this sense that a significant increase in the population of tigers has been seen here. Once upon a time, animals like lions, elephants, wild buffaloes, and Barasingha were also found in the Satpura National Park. Animals whose numbers are diminishing to a level that they might face extinction are known as the endangered animals. Bujo is reminded of the dinosaurs which became extinct a long time ago. Survival of some animals has become difficult because of disturbances in their natural habitat. Professor Ahmed tells them that in order to protect plants and animals, strict rules are imposed in all national parks. Human activities such as grazing, poaching, hunting, capturing of animals, or collection of firewood, medicinal plants, etc., are not allowed. Are only big animals facing extinction? Madhavji tells Paheli that small animals are much more in danger of becoming extinct than the bigger animals. At times, we kill snakes, frogs, lizards, bats, and owls ruthlessly without realizing their importance in the ecosystem. By killing them, we are harming ourselves. They might be small in size, but their role in the ecosystem cannot be ignored. They form part of food chains and food webs about which you learnt in class 7. An ecosystem is made of all the plants, animals, and microorganisms in an area along with non-living components such as climate, soil, river deltas, etc. I wonder if there is any record of all endangered species. Red Data Book. Professor Ahmed explains about Red Data Book to the children. He tells them that Red Data Book is the source book which keeps a record of all the endangered animals and plants. Red Data Book is maintained internationally by an organization. India also maintains Red Data Book for plants and animals found in India. Migration. The excursion party then enters deeper into the forest under the guidance of Madhavji. They sit near the Tawa reservoir to relax for some time. Paheli observes some of the birds near the river. Madhavji tells the children that these are migratory birds. These birds have flown here from other parts of the world. Migratory birds fly to faraway areas every year during a particular time because of climatic changes. They fly for laying eggs as the weather in their natural habitat becomes very cold and inhospitable. Birds who cover long distances in to reach another land are known as migratory birds. What would happen if we had no wood? Is there any alternative available to wood? I know that paper is one of the important products we get from forest. I wonder whether there are any alternatives available for paper. Recycling of paper. Professor Ahmed draws attention of the children to another cause of deforestation. He tells them that it takes 17 full grown trees to make 1 ton of paper. Therefore, we should save paper. Professor Ahmed also tells that paper can be recycled 5 to 7 times for use. If each student saves at least one sheet of paper in a day, we can save many trees in a year. We should save, reuse used paper and recycle it. But this we not only save, by this we not only save trees but also save energy and water needed for manufacturing paper. Moreover, the amount of harmful chemicals used in paper making will also be reduced. Is there any permanent solution to the problem of deforestation? Reforestation. Professor Hammer suggests that the answer to deforestation is reforestation. Reforestation is restocking of the destroyed forest by planting new trees. The planted trees should generally be of the same species which were found in that forest. We should plant at least as many trees as we cut. Reforestation can take place naturally also. If the deforested area is left undisturbed, it reestablishes itself. In natural reforestation, there is no role of human beings. We have already caused tremendous damage to our forest. If we have to retain our green wealth for future generations, plantation of more trees is the only option. Professor Ahmed told them that in India we have the Forest Conservation Act. This act is aimed at preservation and conservation of natural forest and meeting the basic needs of the people living in or near the forest. After some rest, Madhavji asked the children to start heading back because it is not advisable to stay in the jungle after sunset. On getting back, Professor Ahmed and the children thanked Madhavji for guiding them through this exciting experience. So, this was the reading of our chapter 5, Conservation of Plants and Animals. If you have any doubt or query, you can ask me in the comment section below. Also, you can find the links to other chapters in the description box below. Thank you everyone.